You are Locked On Astros POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What do we have here? We have an Astros team that suddenly feels like they're going to turn things around. Welcome into the Locked On Astros postcast tonight as the Stros knock off the Brewers 5-4, extending their winning streak to 6 games. And boy, oh boy, how good does this feel to be able to sit here with a smile on your face thinking about, you know what? That's good Astros baseball. That's the kind of Astros baseball that we have all signed up for all these years, that we have loved and enjoyed. Now, yes, they are still below 500 at the moment, but guess what, everybody? The American League West tonight, they all decided to lose. Rangers, Mariners, Stros win. They're on a winning streak, only 5 games under 500 now. They've got 500 in their sights before the end of this month, possibly. And now, because everybody else decided to go ahead and lose, the Astros are 4 games out of the American League West. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Not dead yet. I'm going to have to eat my words probably. I said it, that they weren't going to be a postseason team because they got me that down in the dumps. And that's okay. I'm willing to admit when I am wrong. It takes a big man to admit when he is wrong, and I am that big man. I think that's the saying. Maybe I was wrong. I'm not all the way there yet, but boy, oh boy, you can hear it in my voice. I feel really good right now. I'm enjoying life right now. Good baseball back in my life, people. You know how exciting this is. Let's go. Tonight's show, by the way, is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. So simple as this. I mean, what a night. What a night tonight for the Astros. I mean, everything that you could have imagined and more. They went out there and they outdueled that team, being, of course, the Milwaukee Brewers, by outslugging them a little bit, getting good pitching again, which is kind of key, and the back end of the bullpen doing their thing. I don't know if you could write a better script to start the series against a team that's in first place in the NL Central. From Hunter Brown going out there, I know it's 4 runs, but honestly, I feel like 4 runs with Hunter Brown is good based off the way that he's gone this season. And he actually got his first win of the year. So good on him. And he dropped his ERA down to 7.71. Taylor Scott, good behind him. Montero, look, gets a little traffic there. Abreu did the same. Abreu is just going to be allergic to clean innings this year. And then Josh Hader. How about Josh Hader coming out? 1, 2, 3. Bing, bang, boom. Just done. Sneaking out a 1-run win. Doing it in the stressful moments and getting the big swings when you need them as well. I want to dedicate the second segment of this show to, of course, the man that had the biggest swing of the night, that being Jeremy Peña, because, well, he was fantastic once again for the Astros with what he went out there and did. Because he's been awesome all year, which is crazy to think based off the way that he played last year and just how awful he looked at times that he's done this. But Jake Myers, big swing from him. Jake Myers playing some good baseball. Simple as that. And it's really going to put the Astros in a weird spot here when we've talked about it. When Chas McCormick comes out, I know Loperfido didn't do anything tonight when he was out there, a couple strikeouts before he got pinch hit for by Dubon, who, of course, decided to hit into a double play in his one spot. But when it comes to playing time in the outfield, Jake Myers, you can't bring him out of the lineup, take him out of the lineup right now, excuse me, because he is playing well and putting up numbers. And if you do that, you can't sit guys consistently. Simple as that. And on top of that, you've got Loperfido, who's played really well. I mean, it's as simple as it gets. There's not going to be a spot basically for Chas McCormick when he comes back to play at all consistently. That's the kind of thing that you have to worry about there. But That's not what you're worried about this moment because the team is winning. And the question for you guys tonight is, how far back in are you? We'll talk about that more, where I'm at personally, with where they're buying me back into things because, well, look, it looked really good tonight. Simple as that. They look like a baseball team that can go out there and beat people consistently. And if you do that, well, guess what? Like we've been saying, the AL West, it's garbage West, basically, in terms of playing consistently out there. And it's allowing the Astros to get back into a spot now where, they're going to, if they keep screwing around, and I say screw around in a good way, is the fact that they keep winning baseball games in this schedule that we've gone over a few times. You got the Brewers for this weekend, Angels next week at home to finish this homestand, which, by the way, the Astros right now are a perfect 5-0 on the 10-game homestand, and they're going to default into at least a 7-3 homestand. And going into it, that's exactly what you were hoping for. Right now, you want to be greedy. You want at least 8-2 on this homestand. But you're playing the Angels after this. You can smack the Angels around. We all know that. And then you go back to Oakland or go to Oakland next weekend to play the A's again. And they should win all those games. Let's just play the hypothetical world here. Can they reel off another 5 in a row? Milwaukee's tough. Expecting 2 straight wins against Milwaukee is going to be difficult. But can they reel off enough wins between now and the 26th, which is the end of that A's series, to where they set up to go to Seattle, and they're at 500? Absolutely. And if you had asked me a week ago if this was possible, I would have told you no, because that's what I was doing. This time last week, we didn't do a show that night. They lost that night. Look, I took off that Saturday night, and every game that we've done now since the 9th, the Astros have won on this show. Which, by the way, if you're new to the channel tonight, thank you for joining us. You can please hit that subscribe button. We do this after every game. And if you're looking for this on podcast, if you would like to listen to it, wherever that you get your podcast, just search for Locked On Astros, and you can find that. I'm looking at your comments there. I do agree. I want a 10-0 homestand there. To the question of why did Dubon hit for Loperfido there with 2 on and nobody out, it's just a matchup game there. And Mauricio Dubon with guys on this season was, I think, 11 for 24, 25, or 26. Something really good. He's like 4th in all of baseball with batting average and runners in scoring position. It was a matchup game, and no issue with that, playing that matchup one bit. So that's just kind of how it goes. Doesn't matter. It just as simple as that. They want to get the best chance to go win and get some runs and make that bullpen. You wanted that bullpen to have more than a 1-run cushion tonight, but guess what? They're able to hold on to that 1-run cushion, and this team is red hot as they get. I need to see if has the Rockies winning streak come to an end yet? Because if the Rockies winning streak came to an end at this point, the Astros have to have the longest winning streak going in baseball. The Astros have won 6 games in a row now, which again is crazy. Now the Rockies have won 7 in a row. How that's happened, and they're still in last place in their division. The Astros, by the way, are still up there now in 3rd place. And as I mentioned, 4 games out of the division. They're only 3 games behind second place, the second-place Rangers. So keep chugging along. Keep doing your thing. And before you know it, you might actually be a team that is, well, right up there at the top of the division. What? After that month of April, how is this possible? They told us to just wait. And you know what? Maybe they were right. And I'll apologize to people. I'm not going to apologize to Reggie Jackson or Jeff Bagwell or Jim Crane for allowing these people to make decisions on the team. I'm never going to apologize for that. I'm never going to apologize that they got away from analytics and what's gotten them there. But I will apologize to the people that are on the team that I, basically said you're not going to make the postseason. They're long way to go still. But the way that they're playing, it's just got that feel in it. And it's a benefit as well because the AL West is just not very good this year so far. That's fine. Some years the division's good, some years it's not. Maybe this is a year that the division is not very good, and the Astros are going to benefit from it. Simple as that. We got a lot more to get into, and we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend that is Jeremy Peña. his big season continues. Can he continue this all year? We discuss it next. But first, I need to tell you, get your supplies from the site that's made for skilled trades. SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Locked on Astros postcast here tonight. Thank you for joining us live on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you are also new or you know people that were looking for somewhere to listen to Astros talk as soon as the game ends, give them this channel. Give them this page. Tell them to go hit the subscribe button. Find this on podcast anywhere that you get your podcast. Search for Locked on Astros. It is free. The Astros tonight get a huge swing again out of Jeremy Peña. Jeremy Peña has had a complete 180 from his season last year. Now, at the end of the season last year, his numbers weren't like as atrocious as they were made out to be, except for the glaring one, which was he had no slugging percentage because he didn't hit the ball over the fence, and he basically just had a lot of singles last year. But his batting average wasn't horrible. He still got on base at a way better clip than he did the year before. But he just still wasn't a plus player at any point of the season. Now, this year, he's been a plus player all year long. We're talking about a player now. He only had the one hit tonight. But that at-bat was just so good. 7 pitches in it, fouls stuff off, spits on some sliders, which is always a weakness for him, and then hits a slider over the fence. But we are 172 at-bats into the season for Jeremy Peña now. Now he's already hit half of the home runs that he hit last year. He hit 10 last year. He's got 5, but he is hitting 326. Jeremy Peña. And, will the number come back down? Of course it will. It absolutely will. It is what it is. It's going to happen. But I think he's capable, clearly, of keeping this batting average up over 300 as the year moves along. And the way that he's playing, with the confidence that he's playing with, what's to think that it's going to change all of a sudden? They put him back up there in the 2-hole tonight, which was always a good spot for him. And they put him there, and he capitalized the biggest moment of the game. Plays a stellar defense at short overall. I mean, he plays this way. He should be, which that's on you guys as the fans to go vote. He should absolutely be starting at shortstop for the American League in the All-Star game if he keeps playing at this level. I mean, just simply put. He's stepped up wherever they've needed him this year. He was down in the order to start the year. Moved up slowly. Eventually, recently slotted up to the 4-hole. He even hit there. Tonight in the 2-hole. They need him to go, come through the big moment. He smacks it out of the ballpark. And I think it always gets back to, the Astros' history is not rich of shortstops that hit. Never has been. I mean, Carlos Correa was literally the first shortstop this franchise has basically ever had for any lengthy period of time that was good at hitting. Like they had Miguel Tejada, but he couldn't field worth a lick at that point of his career. Honestly, he shouldn't have been playing shortstop, but he was. They just never had anybody like Correa before that. Now, there's differences in Peña and Correa still to this day. And, I think at their peak offensively, Correa is probably a little bit ahead of him. But here's the difference. And I'm not saying that Carlos Correa didn't work by any means. Jeremy Peña, though, is one of these guys that is so dedicated to it. And, he had to wait quite a bit of time to get to the big league level. He's he's gotten his opportunity when Correa was gone, and he took it and ran with it that first year, obviously. I mean, winning the World Series MVP, winning the ALCS MVP, just simple as that. That's as good as it gets. And last year was a disappointment. And look, it all comes down to, more than anything else, mechanics of the swing. Anybody that's played baseball knew it last year. His load was slow because he waggles that bat and would drag it behind him. It was always ugly, and it made no sense. And not being quiet in the box isn't a great thing. Having quiet feet and having, quiet hands and just being ready to load quick and go is better than what he was doing. And he took the offseason and, figured it out. And the results have been wonderful. And that's the thing that you could fall back on of how players can progress even as major leaguers. And look, we've talked about it a lot with Kyle Tucker, which I'll say it again. I say it every time. Pay Kyle Tucker. Stop waiting on it. But we're talking about a player now in Jeremy Peña where two of his 3 years are really good years as a major leaguer. And his third year, he is ascending to a level that he's at right now. And he's still young enough in his career to where it is going to be beneficial. He's 26, but he's not going to be a free agent for after another 3 seasons or so. They should have the discussions of contract extensions now if they are thinking that, hey, this is a player that we would like to keep. Simple as that. And based off the way that the core of this team is for the future, you've got Altuve locked up for another 5 after this year. You've got Jordan locked up for another 5 years. They need to get Tucker done, but if you get Tucker done and Jordan and Jeremy Peña, there's your core of this thing. Those are your guys that you're going to build around the rest of the way for the next, iteration of Astros golden era or whatever it's going to be, if it's going to stay the golden era, which right now it's not dead. A month ago, it was dead. Not dead yet. Only 4 games out in the division. Feeling pretty good about it right now. But I think that this is one of those things that you just look at the player and what he's done, and then the importance he's had to the team this year. And again, in a moment tonight for Jeremy Peña that was just so big. So big. What a swing. That at-bat was just a mature at-bat. Makes you feel like a proud father watching him. I'm not a father, but I would imagine that, that feels like that. It was awesome. They need him to continue to do that as well. Because if he didn't, then they'd be in a little bit of trouble. So let's go ahead and, like Kyle Tucker, I'm not going to have one problem if you guys want to go ahead and lock up Jeremy Peña for a little bit of a period of time, because he's looks like he's getting better as the season continues to roll along. The question now for all of you guys is, how far back in are you on the Astros? Where are you at? I know that you're feeling good, but where are you at on the Stros? Go ahead and file it into the comments there. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about my feelings on it. Am I ready to apologize completely? Half apology, whatever it is, for doubting that they'd be a postseason team this year? We'll discuss it as we move forward here on the Locked On Astros postcast. But first, we have to tell you about FanDuel. It's winner take all in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to win big and bring home your big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Head over to FanDuel.com/locked-on right now. Locked On Astros postcast continues right here on the Locked On Sports Houston page. Thank you for joining us. It's nice to have nice things to talk about on here. We had a period of time where it was nothing but bad things to talk about with the Astros, and it was like every single night, more and more and more and more, and oh my goodness, it's never going to end. But maybe we're about to be in the summer of the Stros. And the summer of the Stros is going to be them going out and winning baseball games and doing it consistently, getting back to 500 here, taking advantage of a schedule that is definitely beneficial for them to go win. But I want to know from you guys, where are you at? How are you feeling right now about the Astros? Are you back on the bandwagon? Are you back to everything is great? I'm looking at the comments. I'm not going to lie to you. For a night that they won 5-4, and they are 5 games under 500 now, you guys sure are doing a lot of complaining about this, that, and the other. You know, so whether it's Diaz or the runners in scoring position or left on base, who cares tonight? Did you win? Yep. Had more runs than the other team? Don't care. Tomorrow night, if they lose and they leave 13 men on and Yainer Diaz hits a bunch of ground balls and Bregman has a bunch more pop-outs, there were some complaints about Bregman too. Okay. I'll complain about that then. But tonight, screw that noise. I like happy. Happy's better. And this is happy baseball. Now, I'm not saying that we don't just ignore everything. You can't do that when you're evaluating a baseball team. That would just be downright silly to do. But you know what? You're not going to win every game 10-8, or 10-2, or 10-3, or 12-4, or whatever it is. Like, it's just impossible. This sport, it doesn't work that way. And if you've watched it for a long period of time, you should know that by now. So, yeah, I get it. You want everything to be perfect, but this is an imperfect game. And you're never going to have a completely perfect night, ever. Unless you threw a perfect game, I guess. But then, even then, like, you'd score one run and everybody'd be like, oh my God, it's a win. They won. Okay? Tomorrow night, if they lose and they do things that are, again, leaving runners in scoring position, whatever, it's fine. Then you can be upset about it. I just don't feel the need to complain much on a night where they've won, and they've won 6 straight baseball games. It's pretty good. Like we just said a minute ago, second longest winning streak currently in baseball. It's pretty good. It's gotten them back to this point. They're 4 games out in the division. That's good. They got a chance to continue to get through these things, and look, you figure it out, and then there you go. They're going to be good. I will say I've backed off the ledge. I wasn't completely on the ledge. I wasn't close to being off of it, but I'm not on the ledge anymore with this baseball team. They've got me back. They've got me feeling the good vibes again. Because I do think that the way that the rest of this homestand sets up, like I mentioned earlier, I think they got a real chance to reel off a couple of wins. They've got, of course, tomorrow night, Verlander going. If he's able to replicate what he did in Detroit the other day, that's going to be awesome. Arrighetti goes Monday. That'll be interesting to see. Or not Monday, Sunday. We'll see how that goes. And then the Angels are here Monday. And look, the Angels aren't good. So they should smack them around. Maybe this team truly is just a slow starter. I know that, in years past, I think last year they started we went over those stats, 9-11, or they were at 11-11. They weren't very good last year, early in the season. Most of those, outside of 2017, I think I got out of the gates pretty well. 2018, maybe. 2019, they definitely did because they reeled off a ton of wins. But they're just a team that, for some reason, is slow to get the engines going. And, the engines are getting fired up right now. You have to get lucky. Simple as that, to be able to get away with it. Think about 2016 when they missed the postseason. They got off to a terrible start that year. Terrible start. And that dug them a hole where they could never get back into the postseason that year. That was before you had, multiple wild card teams. But you can't fart around too much. And that's what I kept saying. That's really what had me down. Was they kept screwing around for too long, it felt like, losing baseball games. and playing bad baseball and not showing any real signs of all of a sudden it's going to be better. And now they have. And you can run up and down the lineup. I mean, guys have gotten hot. Obviously, Bregman's been hot of late. We've talked about Peña. Kyle Tucker is having the best season of his life. He's playing at an MVP level. John Singleton stepped up and done well. Jake Myers has been really awesome. Victor Caratini's been a great addition to this club as well. I know that Diaz hasn't been like what we all expected him to be, but he's not been Martín Maldonado, which, by the way, if you've seen, I actually found myself curious earlier because the White Sox have Maldonado and Corey Lee, and they kind of flip back and forth, but Maldonado's hitting .097. Corey Lee's pinch hitting for him late in games on the terrible White Sox team. I will say Jose Altuve's month of May has not been very good. His at-bats right now aren't great. He's just, you could tell, he's not seeing it all that great. But he's still getting hits. He still leads the majors in hits, but the batting average has come down quite a bit from where it was. And they're doing this at the moment. They're getting hot, by the way, with Jordan not doing a damn thing. That's an encouraging thing. Because like Bregman getting hot, what happens when Jordan gets hot? Uh-oh. Good luck to all the starting pitchers and relief pitchers out there that Jordan Alvarez gets going. That usually won't end well for you. But right now, everything is ending well for the Astros. And that's the beautiful sign of this, is that they have figured something out. And they're playing teams they can beat, and they're going out and they're executing. And based on the recent play, they're a good team again. Now, overall, they're still not a good team from the standpoint of record, but they are a good team at the moment. I'll go ahead and make my Michael Connor prediction right now. Based on the way that they're going, they will be back at least to 500 by the end of this month. Please make me right, because there's not a lot of games left to do that. Back to 500 would mean keeping this winning streak going for a few more days, and then a little bit more, because you got all of next week. They have a total of how many? 2, 5, 8, 12, 13 games left. I'm putting a big bet on this one. You know what? That's what we're going for. Simple as that. Tomorrow night, when they get wrapped up after Verlander takes the mound against the Brewers, we'll be right back here doing this with the Locked On Astros postcast once again. I appreciate every single one of you that joined us tonight. I appreciate all of you that got into the comments. If you're new to the channel, please, again, hit subscribe. Share it with everybody you know. Tell them to subscribe to the page. Find it on podcast, anywhere that you get your podcast. Search Locked On Astros, and it is free right there. And don't forget, this channel is not going to be just Astros this year. We do it with the Texans, the Rockets, and the Cougs. We're going to have great things to talk about all year when it comes to postcast on the Locked On Sports Houston page. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Soak in that win. Soak in 6 in a row. We'll talk to you tomorrow night after another win on the Locked On Astros postcast.